Should we get guns?
Why bloody not? Get a license, go on the farm.
Snipe some deers.
Well, speaking of sniping deers, my brother, I use lightning spells in Elden Ring to snipe a few of those rolling sheep that have lightning go.
The lightning goat.
The lightning goats. This is After Hours, and we're going to do a discussion on the Elden Ring DLC, 'cause I finally finished it. Only took me, 6 months? Longer?
Yeah, what month did it...
It came out, I feel like it came out earlier in the year.
Was it like May? No, June, right?
June, okay. That's right, because it came out, right, yeah. June. So not, whatever.
I just 5 months ago.
I sent you a message when I beat him.
Yeah.
I guess, oops, spoilers.
Yeah, the huge spoilers. Beep it.
Yeah, I'll beep that and say, yeah.
Can you beep that?
No, that's staying in. Should we just say it's a spoiler thing?
Yeah, 100%.
Who cares?
100%.
Otherwise.
Out of 10, go.
God. I mean, it's cool.
Is that how you feel about it? Were you not that impressed?
It was fun. It was like more Elden Ring. It was what I'd want from an Elden Ring DLC. I love the aesthetics and design of all the bosses as far as how they look.
Yeah.
I didn't love fighting all of them. In fact, some of this is on me, right? I basically, maybe this is why it took me so long, because I've been playing the whole DLC on what was it? New Game Plus 5 or 4?
One or the other.
Either 4 or 5. And I didn't notice that I'd been playing it on that until I was near the end.
The thing is, you're not that high of a level, so obviously for your New Game Pluses, you've been like speed running.
Yeah.
Because you were like a lower level than me on New Game Plus 4.
Yeah, I don't know what I was doing.
I think you were mopping up achievements, right?
It must have been that.
You were
so then,
like 100%ing it.
Because I wanted to play on the projector, I need to play on the Xbox. I couldn't remember what my save was. I just jumped in. I just thought I'd get good.
Well, clearly you did. With the help of a certain little friend.
Multiple friends.
Yeah, but primarily it will be Mr. Mimic, surely.
No, he's not. He wasn't even that useful.
Oh, really?
Yeah.
Wow.
Mm-hmm.
How?
Just got killed. Yeah. Where do you even begin? Like, what are your thoughts on the DLC?
I think it has like the best map ever
That they've designed.
Yeah.
Because I don't have the reference point of comparing it to. I didn't play the DLC in 1 or 3 or Bloodborne, so I don't really know what their DLC is capable of.
They've never been like this.
This must be the biggest scale that they've ever.
Well, yeah, it's huge.
Mm.
It's bigger than like most games.
Yeah.
There's more.
I mean, there's enough content to keep me
on.
going for weeks and weeks. So.
Yeah. And I went through it at a really nice pace. Like, I would prefer, I think, for an Elden Ring sequel to not be so huge. You know, I'd want it to be more like the size of this DLC.
I like the idea of I like the layered map thing they did in the OG game.
Yeah.
Maybe like 3 or 4 small ones, like on different layers.
Mm-hmm.
I like that idea. But yeah, it's like a really dense map, isn't it?
Yeah. And it's... You never know how you're going to get from one part of it to another. And you can see something way in the distance, and like you'll be looking at different awkward angles, and you're like, that over there kind of looks designed. It looks like a place I should be able to go, but I don't know if I can. But then suddenly you'll find yourself there 20 hours later.
And as far as like build-ups to bosses and stuff, they did some really cool stuff. Like
yeah.
The dragon area is really cool. The whole build up.
The vistas and
Mm-hmm.
the staging of like when you first enter a new area.
Yeah.
I don't know how they've done it, but like they turn you into a cinematographer.
Mm-hmm.
You know, the
Yeah.
way the Cerulean Coast was the one for me. When
Yeah,
like
that one rocks.
you're going up this hill and there's like a few blue flowers, and there's more and more as you go up the hill and you reach the top, and it's like
And all those like
it's
all those
stunning.
boats kind of like wedged into the
Yeah,
ground. And
yeah.
you can climb up them. And
Get little items and bits, and I was constantly just intrigued by the exploration, not like, oh, I want to get the shadow tree fragment. It was, I just want to see everything.
How did you feel about that fragment system? Because they had to. It's the challenge of adding difficulty, I guess, to a game so late.
Yeah.
It was like their solution to that problem, I guess.
Yeah, it kind of devalues the souls, the runes, the level up currency, which I'm fine with. It is more similar to Sekiro.
Mm-hmm. I understand why they came up with that solution for it.
Yeah.
Because it has to sort of be siloed from that main map. You have to be able to like jump between them and it not impact each other too much. And that's a way of like separating it.
Yeah, for sure. I don't like that there's, to get the maximum like upgrade,
Mm-hmm.
you have to find every single one. And some of them are stupid. Some of them
I definitely didn't get them all.
I didn't get them all.
I looked at the table of like when the stats stopped kind of paying off in any meaningful way and just tried to get to.
Yeah, I got like 17.
Yeah.
So
that's
and
what
that
I
was
definitely
naturally.
Yeah.
But some of them are like being carried by ghost guys, and they're like holding a pot.
Oh.
It's like I don't want to be killing like ghost guys with pots to.
Ghost guy when you got to like shoot them or something.
No, they're just like the early on default enemies. Some of them carry pots.
Uh-huh. Oh, and they just have them. Okay.
Yeah.
I guess it's supposed to reward exploration.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Which I think going forward, for if they ever do another big open world game, it should be more like significant. If there's a type of dungeon or something that you can find that's going to give you a unique experience, and that's the reward at the end of it.
Mm-hmm.
You know. So
yeah, that was something I was finding, was that a lot of the rewards for doing like dungeons or random things just weren't that interesting, and a lot of the messages were just like crap ahead or whatever.
Yeah, a lot of it's like upgrade materials and stuff. Which if you've gone through the base game thoroughly, you're gonna have plenty of access to.
Yeah, and just random thoughts pop into my head. Those big like fire things. I kind of hate those things.
Oh yeah.
Well, I don't know what they're called, but they're not fun to fight.
No.
Maybe that was because I was on such a high
yeah,
plus, so like the damage they were doing to me was like so obscene, and the damage I was doing to them was so minimal. But like just
I know there's the kind of
you're supposed to like trip them over and then throw that thing into the top of them.
The big fire.
Yeah, but I haven't done that. I mostly just wound up like, oh, it's one of those. I'm just gonna run past it. I just can't be asked.
Yeah, I killed 2, I think.
Mm-hmm.
That's the thing with the DLC. It can early on, it can really scare you off of doing a bunch of stuff just because of like a normal enemy will hit you twice and you'll nearly die, or you're trying to fight 2 guys at once that wouldn't normally be that much of a threat, but they've killed you in half a second.
And there was by the end of the DLC, I was getting tired of these like mega strong enemies with like attack patterns so long. I almost felt like, man, you're just trying to like encourage me to use like the pussiest builds just so I can get through these annoying enemies. And that goes to some of the bosses too. that guy on the, is it a pig or a horse or something? He's like really.
Oh yeah, he sucks. He's probably the only dud, I'd say.
Out of the bosses.
The only boss that's like bad. Because I really didn't have fun with him. It was like I just cheesed as hard as I could.
Yeah, I didn't love that boss. It was more just like the concepts of some of the bosses I loved. I loved the sunflower boss. I loved the way it was animated, the way it moves. Same with like the weird finger boss thing and that location that you go to under that castle or whatever.
Awesome lore.
The frenzied flame boss was one of my favorites.
Awesome. How did you feel about the stealth bit?
Can you explain the stealth bit? I definitely did it, I guess, but like I didn't fail it.
You gotta like sneak past the lantern carrying guys.
Oh right.
They got like the big bug heads.
Yeah, I did do that. I didn't really find it hard though.
Really, you didn't get spotted once?
No.
What the fuck?
But bro, I feel like I need to just record every single thing I do. I play games in the weirdest way. Like, cause I showed you the map that I'd done, and I was like, I'd gone to the penultimate boss, but I'd missed out like most of the map.
Yeah.
And I was like, how have I even done this? I'm playing it in a crazy way.
That's the cool thing about this DLC, though.
Like the non-linearity.
Yeah, the paths you can take, and the way I was describing it to you, I think before you'd even bought it, was like I'd have a goal, be like I want to do this area, and I'd be going along doing this area, trying to find every nook and cranny, but then I start going down a nook of this area, and then it leads to this other area.
Yeah, you can't really play it like you play the original Elden Ring.
No, the original's like flat and open.
It's way more flat and open, and it was more like there's a part of the map that's not filled in, but it shows you where the like map fragment is. So you set a marker for that and kind of go from there. You can't really do that in the DLC. A lot of them, like, it looks like you can get to it, but you can't. Not through any obvious way anyway.
Yeah.
Which was frustrating me at first, but then I just kind of stopped caring about that. I was just exploring on my own and found more enjoyment that way.
Yeah, it forces you to, more like Dark Souls 1, have an understanding of the actual connections between the places instead of just setting markers.
That is cool.
It's such a good idea. Like this feels like the first FromSoft game. And I will like it's beyond a DLC. It's its own game. But it feels like the first project they've made where they've said, let's actually iterate and like use some of the ideas from Dark Souls 1's map design. Because they just haven't really since.
Some of the obtuseness, like the games I've always have, continues to be funny to me. Like that area, like you have to do like a specific emote, like by a statue, and it's like, how would I ever figure that out? I guess that's almost part of it. Like, I don't know, I use the wiki a bunch when I play the original game. Like, there's a certain spell I'm after, if there's a certain item I want or whatever, I will look up sometimes where it is, because I've done my organic playthrough. I've got like builds in mind now, or goals in mind.
If you miss something and you want to find it, sometimes if you've already missed it, then you're never going to find it naturally. Because I was trying to figure out how to get to the shaded woods where the frenzy flame is. And I missed it. I missed the ladder where you initially could stumble across it. So I had to look it up. But
it's a pro and con, isn't it? Because it's like the hidden secrets is what makes it so dense and cool.
Yeah, and like engaging with the messages system. Yeah. That's where FromSoft's main shit is for me. Like that enjoyment is crazy.
Yeah, once you said about that when you started playing it, when I eventually got on, I did the same thing. And I just turned it into its own little meta game of like, I would just leave messages saying prawn exclamation mark in like random places, like destroy a barrel, then put it under this.
Yeah.
That kind of thing. And then they start getting appraised. And
Yeah,
you get
and
the health boost.
Yeah.
And that was like a fun,
Super
rewarding
cool.
thing. I do love... one of my favorite things in Elden Ring is just putting my summoning sign down for other people.
Mm-hmm.
I love going and helping other people out. I think that's such a fun system.
Yeah.
Even though sometimes in the DLC specifically, you're plucked into someone's DLC world, and they'll be like kind of like me, like at the last boss, but have like no fragments.
Right. Yeah.
If you look in your inventory, you can see what their fragments are.
Right. So if they get breathed on, they're gonna die.
So it's like, oh, I'm just, why even? What the fuck are you doing?
Yeah.
But yeah, I at some point they're gonna need to figure out the quest thing, because it sucks. Like the way it works is so ridiculously obtuse in a way that isn't charming to me.
Yeah, I feel like if they had
would
an
do.
item or something like a logbook that notes down a character, it doesn't have to put them on the map. If it just said,
Even though they are on the map, like it shows.
but
you
when they move, then you don't know. You have to find them again, right?
right, I don't know.
I'm pretty sure that's how it works.
Yeah, so like it's happened in the base game a bunch as well, where like I've gotten to like a late game stage, I'm like mopping stuff up. I read about like a quest that sounds cool or whatever. I go look at the wiki, and like I've already gone past these steps that mean it's been like blocked off, and I just can't do it on that save now. It's like kind of annoying to me.
Yeah, I get that.
Don't love that.
But to me, that's always something that's like you seek it out.
Yeah, I don't really know how you'd fix that or what I'd suggest to even deal with that,
because
but it is something that does kind of frustrate me about their games.
You really don't want to end up with the just list of busy work.
No. Yeah, that
you want to just.
I'd
avoid
prefer
that
it,
always.
to be more obtuse than that
Yeah, for sure.
overly explained thing. But I feel like there is also there is some solution that, I mean, it's their job to come up with, I guess.
Yeah.
To be streamlined slightly.
Did you mess with any of the new weapons?
Yeah, I got this like sword thing that I'm so bad with names. You like flung into the air and go like, which is pretty cool.
When you turn into like a drill.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, that was cool.
Yeah, that's crazy.
I just started like that's partially why it took me so long to complete, was like I kept coming up with these. I just want to play around with like a giant hammer for a few hours.
Yeah.
Then it was
Well,
like,
I did that because you can get a hammer that you can just throw.
I
And it
didn't know
appears
about
back
that.
in your hand.
That's cool.
It's like a giant hammer. Yeah. They added some really awesome weapons and all the kung fu stuff.
More the medallions, I guess, that they added that I was really liking. There's a really helpful medallion they've added that, like in the default game, it was the same medallion, but it made your health slowly come back, which isn't that useful.
Mhm.
But there's one for FP in the DLC, which is really useful. And the same for the stamina turtle recharge one or whatever. Like completely changed the way I play it and stuff.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's just like a good expansion. Like I don't know what else I'd want. There's like a huge string of bosses that are cool, creative, well animated.
Yeah, I think the dragon boss is the best dragon they've ever done.
Yeah,
It's
it's probably a bit cooler than any of the dragons from the base game to me. As far
way
as
cooler.
the build up to it, the visual design of
Yeah.
it is really cool.
Uh-huh.
This kind of like fucked up, mangled dragon that halfway
Yeah.
through then gets these like angel wings and starts
Mhm.
flying. It's very cool.
And just goes like crazy.
Uh-huh.
And it felt, because I'm not crazy about Radahn. I'm not crazy about the last boss. And when I say I'm not crazy,
because I thought it was
wish
cool.
I wish the way Bale made me feel, because he was the first, he was the first boss I beat.
Which one's Bale? Sorry, with the names.
The dragon.
Oh, so yeah. He was the first boss you beat.
Yeah. And I had
Really?
3 shadow fragments, and I just learnt the fuck out of him.
Wow.
And
Was his health not insane? Because on mine,
yeah, it was
his health
like a
just-
slog. It was fucking crazy, but it was so much fun because
Mm.
like every time I made a bit of progress and then lose a bit of progress and get further and further and further,
Mm.
and then I die immediately, get further, die immediately. But like you're getting that little bit of progress, and I could see what the game wanted from me. It was like that Sekiro thing where it really
Right.
clicked, and I was like, this is. But when I need to jump, I know I need to jump. When I need to dodge, I know I need to dodge. This is something I should block. Whereas
Right.
Radahn is like, just screaming and crying and
Yeah.
just getting hurt.
Uh-huh.
And it wasn't. I mean, I played it pre-patch.
Oh, right. Yeah, I obviously played it post a bunch of patches. So it's probably more balanced.
Yeah, I think I'd probably had one patch, maybe. One DLC patch, but maybe not. I think it was pre his major nerf.
Mm-hmm.
And yeah, it's quite an impressive spectacle.
Yeah, I thought the arena was cool.
Arena's very cool. I'm not overly crazy about, the biggest complaint with Elden Ring is, they reuse all the bosses. They redo this and that. And then the last boss of the DLC is the same boss again that we've already beat. Although, obviously the moveset is totally different.
Yeah, that didn't bug me at all, actually, even though some of the boss reuse in the original game did. Because it just felt so different.
Yeah, I don't know, I was just expecting...
'Cause it's not like there aren't a bunch of new bosses as well.
I was expecting something less conventional.
I was hoping that he was going to do something crazier at the halfway point, like change into something insane.
Right, yeah.
Perhaps, but,
I did find it really cool because Mikola is like on his back,
Mhm.
and if he grabs you twice, then you like kneel and pray, and instead of saying you died, it says heart lost or something.
Right. I never saw that because I'd only get grabbed the first time, and I was like, "What's happening?"
Yeah.
'Cause it seemed.
Because it doesn't do any damage, but you get that thing on your head.
Yeah.
If you get grabbed again.
Oh, right.
It's
cool.
heartbroken.
Mhm.
Is that what it says?
And it's a fail state.
Yeah. And it like ties into the lore. And if you've been into the lore, then you like already know all of these characters. The same as the character that's like underground after the putrescent night.
Mm-hmm.
So all of that is really rewarding. But yeah, I don't like FromSoft's trajectory where it's like Dark Souls, big lumbering like slow bosses,
Mm-hmm.
maybe a bit too slow. Dark Souls 2, pretty much the same thing. Bloodborne, okay, things are starting to speed up, getting a bit wild. Dark Souls 3, things are almost faster than Bloodborne, but I'm slower.
Yeah,
And
shield at least.
Sekiro's like fucking crazy, super quick shit happening all the time, but I am now able to deal with all of that super quick shit.
Mhm.
I'm just as quick. And then Elden Ring is like a step beyond Sekiro, but they've kept going with the enemy just like blah 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 blah
Yeah.
blah blah bam, blah, 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 blah.
Is there a way you can do like parrying like Sekiro? So-
No, unless you get a physic, but that's like a timed thing.
Mm.
So there needs to be some sort of a mechanical break or something, because it can be just like boring.
Yeah, it just makes it to the
and-
fights just go on and on.
And I was finding with Radahn, like I'd make decent progress and be like, this is going well, and then he might do the lead up to a move that I haven't quite got down yet, and I'd be like, oh, it's over, because like I'm getting hit on the third part of his 12-part combo, I need to die another like fucking 10 times before I work this combo out.
So it's just something that wasn't as much of an issue in that base game. I guess it's, as we were saying, designing stuff is so late in a game and trying to make it difficult.
Yeah.
By that point. But on the enemy reuse, they did use those birds way too much.
They're like
those
rock
stone
birds.
bird things.
Yeah.
There were a couple enemies here and there that would like just spam too much. But the actual like environments were cool and different from the base game. They felt like that didn't feel like reuse. It felt like all of these were new
100%.
areas. It felt new. Felt like what you wanted to see. Yeah, is there anything else you want to mention about it? I'm trying to think.
I just think FromSoft has done it again. Like, even though saying all that stuff about the last boss, it's like another separate masterpiece.
Yeah, I'm going to enjoy it in a couple of years, just like fresh save, just doing all of it. It's such a crazy amount of content. I've said Elden Ring, just base Elden Ring is like a dream game, pretty much. To get more of that at this quality, there's no question. Play it if you like Elden Ring.
I mean, it's viable for the best game ever. You know.
Yeah.
With this DLC,
it's definitely in the convo for sure. It's definitely one of my favorite games ever. So rewarding. Was there like new music in the DLC? There must be.
Yeah, the music is really good.
Some of the boss themes are really cool.
I think Bale again, the dragon.
That's a memorable piece of music. Yeah, mostly because I had to do it so many times.
And that was one character questline that I actually managed to do because he's
dragon communion creature, man.
The guy, because he's got that speech every time you summon him for the fight. And that shit goes so fucking hard. It slaps, man.
And the fact it was like, it's 40 quid, isn't it?
Yeah.
They could have charged.
They could have charged full price, 100%.
Yeah.
I couldn't ask for more.
Yeah. It's like the cherry on top of the already amazing thing. Yeah.
And when it comes down to it, any negative things I have to say are nitpicks. Because, again...
Because, I still, like, prefer the base Elden Ring, I think, as far as, like, just... that experience was just so unmatched. It can't have that, like... that moment of going underground in Elden Ring base for the first time.
Yeah.
That kind of... And it's like, oh my god, this game is so big. And it's not like a Assassin's Creed Odyssey feeling where it's like, oh my god, it's so fucking endless. It's more like, it's just secrets abound. This is so much fun to explore and feels like so immersive in that way. But yeah, it's almost unfair to expect that time and time again. But
they keep doing it.
So yeah, let us know your thoughts on the Shadow of the Erdtree.
The Shadow of the Erdtree.
I thought it was fun.
I give it a 10 out of 9.
10 out of 9. I'd give it a 8 out of 5.